Joined now by the congressman from Pensacola, Matt Gaetz. Congressman Gaetz, thank you for joining us this morning. First of all, our condolences to your entire community in the wake of this shooting. Let me ask you the same question I just asked Congresswoman Loughran. Do you think it's time to rethink the United States' relationship with Saudi Arabia?
Well, George, thank you for your condolences. The military is not a feature of my community. It is the defining characteristic of my community. And I've dealt with killed in action, downrange, active duty suicide. But there is a special kind of grief when the bravest, most patriotic Americans are putting themselves in harm's way to train people from other countries to be able to protect and defend their own country, and then they kill us for it. This isn't the first time my community's experienced that type of grief, and it is deeply, deeply painful. Of course, what happened in Pensacola has to inform on our ongoing relationship with Saudi Arabia. That is the message I directly delivered to the Saudi ambassador when she called to offer her condolences. There are Saudis that are currently with us that are being investigated, and I made the point as clearly as I possibly could that we want no interference from the kingdom as it relates to Saudis that we have, and if there are Saudis that we do not have that may have been involved in any way in the planning, inspiration, financing, or execution of this, that we expect Saudi intelligence to work with our government to find the people accountable and hold them responsible. And I was given every assurance from the ambassador that that would occur.
Do you think the president has been tough enough with Saudi Arabia, has delivered the message in the same way you have?
I am very grateful to the president for being so on top of this. We've been communicating regularly, and I can tell you that what you saw from Secretary Esper in terms of ordering a review of this program is a consequence of the president's leadership. We need to have a review of this program, and it's my belief that as Secretary Esper is looking at the record keeping, the accounting for these Saudi nationals that are in our country, the continuous observance and monitoring of their activities to ensure that there's not radicalization. While that's going on, we should pause this program. We should not be taking new incoming Saudi students until we are absolutely confident in our vetting process.
Congressman, okay, let's move on now to impeachment. And you just heard Congresswoman Loughran right there discussing Rudy Giuliani's trip to Ukraine this week, a trip that you said was weird. You're not the only one. Dan Eberhard, a strong supporter of President Trump, donor to President Trump, said the fact that Giuliani is back in Ukraine is like a murder suspect returning to the crime scene to live stream themselves moon dancing. It's brazen on a galactic level. Is it wise for Rudy Giuliani to be there? And you just heard Congresswoman Loughran say it could be more examples of an abuse of power by the president.
I would never compare Mayor Giuliani to a murder suspect. Let's remember, this is the guy who took down the mob in the 90s and who was out there leading a lot of the city of New York during the terrible events of 9/11. So I think he gets the benefit of the doubt that he's not akin to a murder suspect. But it is weird that he's over there, and I'm grateful that very soon after I made those comments on CNN, the president put out a statement that said that Rudy Giuliani does want to come into Congress and explain his role, explain what he's been up to. And I believe that the president urging Mayor Giuliani to provide that clarity to the Congress will be helpful in resolving what seems to be odd having him over there at this time.
Well, Mayor Giuliani has said he's actually representing the president while he's over there. And, of course, it's the president who's blocked his top witnesses with direct evidence from coming to the Congress. You believe that Rudy Giuliani, Mick Mulvaney, Mike Pompeo should all come testify now?
Well, I believe that Rudy Giuliani has indicated that he wants to, so I think that's a moot point as it relates to the other members of the executive branch. The president has to make decisions not only for him, but for the presidency. I think it would inure to the president's advantage to have people testify who could exculpate him, but we want to preserve an executive branch where there are out-of-the-box strategy sessions where people come up with crazy ideas and reject those ideas and hone them. And if everyone's always worried from now going forward that if you suggest something to the president or you're engaging in conversations about an upcoming challenge, that's going to be read out verbatim to the Congress and the country, I think it could impair the type of creativity and out-of-the-box thinking that we want to see in the executive. So I know it's a tough balance for the president.
Democrats are clearly making the case that they're going to say that the president abused his power by soliciting foreign interference in the election, by soliciting interference so that the investigation of Joe Biden, even your witness this week, even Professor Turley said that the president's phone call was not appropriate, was not perfect. Can you explain to the American people why you think it's okay for the President of the United States to ask a foreign nation to investigate a political opponent and withhold a White House meeting at the same time?
I reject the premise of the question, and that's what the president was doing. I think the president was acting on his sincere, longly held view and skepticism of foreign aid. I think he was acting on concern about Ukraine being the third most corrupt country in the world. And I think he was also reflecting specific concern about this Biden connection to Burisma. And remember, it was George Kent, a witness called by the Democrats, who came forward and said, we were so worried about Burisma that our own embassy had to pull out of a public-private partnership that they were engaged in. But what is so dizzying, George, is the evolving standard for impeachment from Democrats. Through most of 2019, Nancy Pelosi said she opposed impeachment, not because the Mueller facts weren't strong enough in her view, but because it wasn't bipartisan. She set the standard of bipartisanship for impeachment. The only thing that's changed now is that we're moving into an election year, and she's willing to pursue a partisan impeachment. And you look back to 1998, Jerry Nadler, our chairman, was saying that it was ripping votes asunder to pursue a partisan impeachment, and no impeachment would be legitimate if it was primarily supported by one party and opposed by another. This impeachment is exclusively supported by Democrats in Congress. It's not just that Democrats can't persuade people like me who support the president. They can't even persuade Republicans like Will Hurd, who are critics of the president, to support this impeachment. So they continue to move the goalposts. And my friend Zoe Lofgren, one of the nicest people in Congress, she compared the impeachment in 1998 to fascism, George. Fascism. Now, I don't think that history looks kindly on the 1998 impeachment, and I certainly don't think it will look kindly on the inevitable impeachment of the president today.
Congressman Gaetz, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.